are rolling.
Hey, this is Andrea, and you're watching The Talk of San Diego. And I'm here just chatting with my friend Tino Luciano, and he is a cowboy. He is the executive producer, director, and producer, a little bit of everything, of Law Dog Productions.
Thank
you have two projects coming up, I hear.
We do. We just wrapped one of them, being Tales of the Frontier, which is our episodic. We wrapped that on December 22nd, 17 episodes involved in this. And we are now in pre-production for The Reckoning of Scarlet Waters, which is our feature.
Awesome. And what can you tell me about whichever one you want to start with first?
Let's go with Tales of the Frontier first. Tales of the Frontier, it's a family values program, harkening back to the days of Have Gun Will Travel, Wagon Train, Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, drawing people to their televisions as a family, to watch good family values, and that's why I started to do Tales of the Frontier. 2013 was something different. I told my crew this is what we want to do. I'm really thinking about doing a feature, and we have the inception of The Reckoning of Scarlet Waters.
Awesome. And when did you start Tales of the Frontier?
Tales of the Frontier was actually started in November of 2011. Mm-hmm. There was some trial and error, equipment. We always have equipment problems. And
we wouldn't know that.
No, not at all. Once we got all the kinks worked out, we were hard at it January of 2012, and we wrapped everything December 22nd of 2012.
Cool.
So,
and what's Reckoning of Scarlet Waters about?
The Reckoning of Scarlet Waters is something totally different. We did some research, and what the viewer wants right now is they want the female to be the heroine. When it was originally kicked around and thought about, it was going to be about a man, being a Western. Keeping true to my roots, it's always going to be a Western. And I said, you know what, let's change this up and let's make it a female. That's what they want. Let's make Jane Doe the strong, powerful one. And basically, she's coming home from the mercantile. They own a ranch, her and her husband, and he sells horses. Mm-hmm. He couldn't go to the mercantile with her, so she's on her way back home, and as she comes up to the approach to her home, she sees something in the driveway, and all of a sudden she realizes that it's her husband and her son, and they've been murdered. She runs up to the bodies and throws herself on them, and from behind the barn we have 5 Apache warriors that come riding around with 3 stolen horses in tow. And she reaches down into the husband's gun belt and pulls his gun out, and before she can even take aim, she's grabbed by one of the Indians, and she's beaten pretty bad. One of the guys grabs her by her hair and mm-hmm. pulls the tomahawk out and gets ready to scalp her, and a shot rings off out of nowhere, killing him instantly. Another shot rings off, wounding another one of the Apaches, and finally they don't know where it's coming from, so they say, forget it, we're out of here, and they just leave her for dead. They get on the horses, run out of town. Now we fade to black on that. We come back in, and we have a pair of moccasins that walk into frame, and then you see the dark skin, the hand reaches down, the bracelets fall, and you know it's another Indian. Mm-hmm. Scoops her and picks her up, and we cut. That's it. Now, one thing I will never do is I will never show the Native American in a bad light. My personal belief is if you come to my house and you threaten my family, and you're going to take what I rightfully own, I'm going to come at you with a vengeance. If that makes me a savage, then so be it. But I think they got a bad rap, and I will never show them in a bad light. Now, with everything I just said, I'm sure people are going, what? They just scalp people. The guys that were the Apaches that scalped them and mm-hmm. left them for dead, they were actually just a band of a gang of thieves, horse thieves. They dressed and appeared in appearance. They made themselves look like Apache warriors. Mm-hmm. So
but in fact, they were white faces, I guess you could say.
Yes, they are whites. Yeah, it throws the scent off. The Indian that takes her in his name is Red Earth, and he actually nurses her back to health. And it's a trial and error. He explains to her that it was not the Apaches, that did this. They were whites, and he proves it to her because the hooves of the horses they were shod, and a true Apache would not shoe the horses.
Yeah.
So she finally believes and agrees, and she vows to do whatever it takes to bring these guys to justice. And the one thing I want to really stress is it's called the Reckoning of Scarlet Waters for a reason, because she's not out for revenge. It's the reckoning that she wants. When she finally does meet these individuals, she gives them all the opportunity to make this right, to go before the judge, and they all draw on her. And being the heroine and being Hollywood, she's a lot quicker, and that's our story.
That's really awesome.
Thank you.
And so when did you get that idea for, this type of film? Did you always have, a passion for Western films, or how did that?
Ever since I was a child, I've always had a passion for the Old West. I put a blast out to some people and said, I want to do a feature. I was getting a lot of scripts in for our 30-minute segments, for Tales of the Frontier. And I got in touch with a gentleman named Sam Fiddler. Sam wrote The Sheriff of Contention, and I got to take a look at that. And I liked it. I liked the story. I liked the trailer. I liked everything I saw about it. So I contacted Sam and I said, hey, this is my idea. I want to do a feature. What do you got for me? He sent me the original script, which was entitled Cass, C-A-S-S. And I read it. I loved it. And I purchased it outright from him. I said, I want it. So we came to an agreement. I took that. I shot it to my ghostwriter, Mr. Neil Flowers. Gave him some ideas, because the original script was 120 pages, and we're going to go for 90 minutes on this. So we had to do some work to it and some manipulations, and it got back to me, and I started redlining and scratching, and then I started writing. And you got 3 people collaborating on this, and then my executive producer Jake Borowski, producer Christopher Clay Jones. We burnt the midnight oil one night, and we worked from 5 in the afternoon to almost 3 in the morning, and rewrote this entire thing, and it is where it is today. And you got to see it, because for those of you guys who don't know, Andrea will be playing Naksha, one of our Native Americans, the jealous Native American.
And we'll talk about that more shortly. I'm Andrea, this is Tino, and you're watching The Talk of San Diego.